hit harder, hit the hardest.
We've been in matches where we're down like 10-0, right? People have match point. We have come back and win. That's mental fortitude.
People do get competitive. I mean, if people are transferring over from being legit athletes.
Come on. Whatever.
Here we go.
Whatever.
Hi, I'm Lauri and this is
Natalie Fisher.
We need no introduction anymore.
The nah and the law. Let's get into it.
We were discussing what kind of topics would be good. We started talking about like pickleball tips. Our amazing producer Cassie over there.
Yeah.
Basically
in the
said,
house.
yeah, who plays pickleball now, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give your top 3 strategies for winning at pickleball.
Yeah. Am I going first?
Well, no, because I know yours.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
I can put it on the board.
Okay.
Hit hard, hit harder, hit the hardest.
Okay. All right. I guess you do have me all figured out.
Kind of.
That's right.
No. Well, you've changed 3. You pretend to hit hard and less hard, so it stays in. Because I used to tell people.
We're talking about pickleball, people.
Keep it clean. How many times do I have to say that?
Oh, Lord.
No,
okay.
we're talking about pickleball.
Yes.
No, what are they? I know that what would you say are the top 3 strategies for winning at pickleball? For anyone.
Getting the ball over one more time than your opponents.
Okay, well,
right.
You know, that's like one of those basketball, like, whoever gets the most points wins. Duh.
Okay. Right. Let me see. Strategy. I mean, I would like to implement, like, get to the line. Don't speed up the ball. Like, usually, those are the types of things. But I'm curious to hear what your strategies are.
So wait, I just want to make it clear. So I was correct. Hit hard, hit harder.
And hardest. Yeah.
Hit the hardest.
That's right.
So there you go. That's the thought.
Yeah.
Okay. But yes, the other implementations to round out your skill set. Mine is always like, I do an assessment. Like I have my first few or just get it back. Huge. Serve deep.
Oh, right.
Don't make that simple. Don't give them something that's easy to attack.
Right.
If you can hit the backhand, do it. Make sure your return is deep, just on the same lines. And then really just trying to get that third shot drop. Like to be up there as soon as possible.
Right. Yeah. You love to get to the line.
Yeah, I feel like, well, here I am giving my stuff away, so I just have to be careful. But right? No, because then I'm telling them how to beat me.
Oh,
no, just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I just like to get up there because at this level now, I feel like everybody comes from tennis.
Yeah.
And so the stroking is pretty good. The placement of those strokes is pretty good. And I feel like the advantage, but I guess it's not a secret. Everybody knows if you get to the line, you neutralize anybody that's up there. So you're neutralizing basically the advantage when you're all 4 at the line. So if I'm at the line, I'm going to pressure them and keep them back. If I'm trying to get to the line, I try to get there as quickly as possible. Right. I do pretty good with fifth shot drop. I know where I like it on the court, so it's really just kind of identifying where I want to drop that ball, and I can slow it down a lot more than I ever could. I definitely evolved my game, then I was doing that too much. First I was hitting too hard, then I figured out how to slow it down and like drop. Then I was doing that too much, forgetting to attack balls, and then when I was attacking balls, yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're patient enough to wait for a good attack, especially when you're playing good players. So those are the strategies, really just like some patience, some fundamentals of deep.
Right.
Yeah, deep serve, deep return, get up to the line, let's go.
Keep them back.
And then some might say, it's a doubles game, so you have to learn to play with your partner.
Yes,
you have to learn to play with your partner.
And partner communication is kind of a big deal, right? And we let's get into it. So if
I don't know if I want to do that, but
it's okay. No, it's good. I mean, here's the thing: relationships, you have to be able to communicate, and so on the court, I mean. We have all this fun, witty banter, and we're, friends off the court, and we're, whatever, partners. But we both being pretty competitive, it can, we actually had a situation last week where it got, I don't know if I want to say contentious, but we were both having a moment.
Smacking the ball at each other pretty hard.
And making some, under our breath.
Yes. How do you like that? Stop that shot. Yeah.
True. But it happens. And here's the thing. We were playing with some other really good players.
Right.
And they kind of came to us separately and they were like, that was a little uncomfortable.
Like, what's happening?
And they wanted to make sure. And I thought, oh gosh, we don't want to be those
No.
people. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it is just pickleball.
Right.
But you don't want to have like, I mean, you're going to have communication issues. One of you is going to feel like you're going to let somebody down, or somebody's going to do something that you wouldn't necessarily, that wasn't the right shot, or you're going to get your partner killed. I know I am guilty of this. If I like to lob. And I feel like it's a strategy. It's not a defense. Like some people are like, if you're whatever in trouble, but for me, I do it. But if I don't hit a good deep lob with topspin and I hit it short and somebody's at the net, I know my partner's getting killed. And if it happens a few times in a game, Lauri is super aggressive. So she'll put her paddle out. But I don't like to have that happen often.
Right. And so,
Ever.
Well, I mean, bottom line is, first of all, I was kind of grouchy because I was really busy. So I'll start with saying I was definitely probably the guilty party on all of that. I'll take the lump on that. But also recognizing that people have bad days, no matter what it is. So it doesn't matter. But we've definitely been on the court where that happens. And I don't want to name anybody, so we'll just kind of be generic about it. Yeah.
Neutral.
But also on the other side of that, with with people I coach, they're often, I guess I would say like maybe a passive aggressive about their partners, whoever they are. They'll say something like, "No, whose ball was that?"
Yes.
And then put it on me to explain who messed it up, as opposed to them having the conversation.
Right.
And then right. You know what I mean? And then the other one is like, they just don't want to have that conversation in the very beginning. Whereas if I'm playing a round robin, which is what I think getting into pickleball is hard, because everybody hears that it's a welcoming community, it's fun, but people do get competitive. I mean, people are transferring over from being legit athletes in other places and seeing the popularity it has and the momentum it has and the energy that it has. And there is the goofy side of it, but there's also the super competitive side of it. And it's about trying to figure out what you're going to be doing at that moment.
Right.
But a lot of them have the mental, I mean, we wanted to get into a little mental conversation of, what is it that you think your partner should get from you or expect from you to actually be winning? Most people play doubles. We get into this topic of conversation because Nat likes to play singles and has fun with it. But I can see why, because you're only worried about yourself.
Right. Win or lose, it's you.
Right.
And I have nobody to either blame or to praise or whatever. And so that is a challenge with doubles.
Right.
And I mean, for us, we've been playing together for so long now that you kind of anticipate, what decisions you're going to make and what things happen. But it doesn't always work out. Like there are bad days, right? We have, because it can't be all great all the time. And so that's the hardest part is, you don't ever want to let your partner down. But communication.
Right.
Can be challenging, and
communication for me is easy. I just said, Nat, if I'm being a jerk, literally just come up to me and say, "Hey, you're being a jerk."
Yeah.
Maybe in different words.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I respond to both.
Yeah. That's the cop in her. She's
It is.
Yeah.
And I kind of tell her that. Like, I've always just gotten along really well with guys because I like the way they just kind of go, "Hey, whatever," and then you're like, "Okay, you good? Ready to go? Ready to go get dinner?" Call you names, whatever. But it's a little bit different. I mean, you're not super sensitive, so that's good.
No.
Because people talk, and she says they like the banter. And I just kind of tease her. Like, I mean, again, that's the kind of thing.
Well, I have a friend who always says, if people are making fun of you, that means they like you. And I never really understood that, but maybe it's true.
Well,
so you must really like me.
No, I sent you the Instagram thing that said only a close friend can really throw digs.
Yeah, you did. You did.
So they must like.
So it was like a 300%.
It was 300%. I'm like, I must be 1,000%.
Yes. So
like a good friend, which meant I was a good friend if they can do that.
Yeah, you can rip on each other. And
so, and I mean, you have that conversation with everybody. I have a relationship with my 6-year-old grandson, which I tell you about.
Right.
And he might find himself in a precarious situation, but we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
So I talk a little bit about married couples playing. Like I don't really like to play a lot of pickleball with in mixed scenarios, either because if the other person's in a relationship, there's something, it just seems tedious in a way.
I mean,
we've talked about that.
Yeah, we have. It and for some people it works. I mean, neither one of us, I don't want to, neither one of us love mixed doubles, but there's so many different dynamics to it. Part of it, and this is just my own personal observation about mixed doubles, especially when you play at the higher levels.
Right.
When you're playing at the higher levels, the guy on the court is typically going to be much more dominant. As the female, you know you're going to get picked on all the time.
Right. You just have to know that.
You have to know that going in. And your role, it feels like your role as the female is to basically serve the ball and then get off the court, and so that your partner can take over and dominate. And so for me, that's not that much fun.
No, because Natalie wants to dominate.
I do want to. That's why I like singles. No,
Right.
but it's.
Well, I mean, look, I mean, it took me a while as I dissect the game and try to figure out different details about how to play it and do, our diligence and try to figure out how to win. And for a while I was like, oh, I think maybe Natalie needs to slow the game down. And it is often a conversation from people is like, Natalie hits hard, but whatever anybody thinks. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just, it's just like.
They are wrong.
Well, I mean, I get it. I get both sides. But then, I had an epiphany one day where I was just like, but she hits, I think it was because it was on Swing Vision and I saw how freaking hard you hit the ball.
Oh.
Just, I told you, it was like 53 miles an hour or something on an overhead slam. And it's how high it even bounces, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I mean, even other tennis players say stuff. So it's not just about tennis. Because I play a lot of tennis players who can drop, who have the finesse, who have that stuff. But then at that point, I was like, and she and I were having how to deal about being at the kitchen line. As odd as it is, as hard as Natalie hits, you're a little afraid of the ball coming back. And then you get in the eye, which doesn't help.
Yes, I did have an injury in the eye, so now I wear
the moneymaker.
So
we have to So and I get all of that, and so you have to have like a bit of I don't know. You have to be tactful in the way the conversation takes place. And I was getting a little frustrated with the lobs because you got to run back and get them, or I find myself in the front, and then a lob comes, and then I got to.
No, she has to run back to retrieve the lob.
I got to make another drop. I got to get another drop.
Yeah.
But then I had, again, an epiphany where I just thought, well, what you really probably need to try to do is set Natalie up for the shot, right? The big bang.
Well, and here's the thing about pickleball, and it's funny. So depending on, everybody has like different skill sets, obviously, on the court. And sometimes I feel, I understand this. If my partner is setting me up and then I get to put the ball away, I get all the glory. But there's no way I could have put that ball away if my partner didn't set me up to be in a position to hit my best shot. So I get that. It is a partnership. And as long as you're both okay with that. But for us, we just had to have a really frank conversation. Go, look, this can't be, because again, it's pickleball. This is like supposed to be fun. There's enough stress in your life that, you don't want to have that be.
I mean, what kind of stress? Let's see. It's April 12th and I finished my taxes today. What kind of stress are we talking about?
I know.
All the coaching.
I know, right?
All the little kids.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, so I just thought it would be a good conversation. The other part is in the mental game. When people are new and they're playing a lot of round robins and they show up, I'll kind of just tell you, I went with a friend to go play open play at Pickler. And we went into I think it was a 4-0 plus or something, a 3-5 plus.
Okay.
And there were 3 guys and they were looking for a 4th. And I was just standing off on the side and they're like looking around, looking at people. I think.
And they're trying to avert gaze because they don't want to play with a woman.
Right. I don't think. I mean, that's an assumption. So if I'm making the wrong assumption.
Okay.
But that's what I felt like.
Right.
30 years of experience as a cop and observation skills. That's okay. Anyway, so I said, hey, I'll play. And then they look at me
you
go,
up and down.
I told you, because I called you and told you.
Yeah.
They look at me up and down and go, well, one guy for sure, the other ones did too. They were younger. And I said, are you sizing me up and down right now? And yes, I did actually say that.
I know, she does.
I did say that. Are you sizing me up right now?
Her mental voice is an actual outside voice.
Well, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
But I was kind of laughing. Like I wasn't trying to make him. And he goes, well, I just want you to understand, we hit hard. And I go, let's just see how we play.
That's the best.
That is what I said. I said, we'll see. Let's just go play. And the first shot, I put away. And he goes, okay.
Okay.
And then the guy was like missing so many shots that he even asked me to move over to the left side. Right?
Which
and
is
then,
the dominant
the dominant
side.
side.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he's like, "Oh my God, you played so great. I'm sorry I didn't play very well." And I probably couldn't pick him out of a crowd. You know how I am. I can't remember.
Yes. No,
I couldn't pick him out of a crowd, but it was
Right.
definitely kind of fun. But still in that sense, I mean, I did, even though I gave him a little bit of nonsense back, I just
Right.
did it. But it was just to show that I had some confidence and I'd play,
Right.
But if you go into that situation thinking someone's signing you up, don't say anything. So I just want to
Let
what
your
happens?
paddle do the talking.
Well, that's what Natalie always says, but I like a little psyops.
I know. She likes to
like
get a little
psyops.
I just,
okay?
all I do is and I go, and they look at me and they go, "Oh, who's this girl in the
No,
leopard with the whatever, with her earrings and her makeup?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know.
I'm
okay.
so demure.
And then I get
Can
out
you
on
pick up my paddle for me, please?
yeah. And then I get on the
And then
court.
some mash.
That's,
This is what I say.
I love it.
Girl, you don't need to bring out the cannon.
I love it.
She
I
bring
love
out
it.
the 45, but she brings out the cannon.
It's,
yeah.
it's so fun to be underestimated.
So if you go to play round robin and you have somebody doing that and you don't have that kind of built-in sassy like I do,
Sassy.
or some might call it something else.
Right.
But anyway, if you don't have that, it's hard to play. Like I think probably some people would have walked away from that, and then they're still looking for a fourth. Like
Right.
what were those guys going to do? The funny thing was nobody was even stepping up. He asked a few times.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, I'll play, because they
Yeah.
were all like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go in there and play. I went in there and played. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
But if you're playing in those scenarios, I just have a conversation. I literally walked in with him and I said, "Look," I go, "do you want the right side?" I said, "Why don't you take the power side? Why don't you take the left side?" I
Right.
said, "You can have everything over the line. You can have all the right side shots," which is what I say, and
Right.
it's not passive.
Right.
Which is what I tell my students to say, is to really go, "Hey, I'll stay on the right side if you have, I mean, I don't know how your backhand is, but if you want to take those as backhands, if you think it's stronger than my forehand," which is a little sassy, but they might, because some people
Right.
do have great backhands.
You're right.
And when I tell them to say things like that, they go, "Oh, yeah, that's a good way to say it." I go, "Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just like you're preparing a strategy.
Right.
It's like you're just saying, heck, you could have all the stuff in the middle. It's great. Or if somebody keeps hitting it down the middle and you don't know whose ball it is, you say, 'Hey, I don't know if those are mine or not, but do you want to cover the middle since it's your forehand?
Right.
I don't really want to put my backhand in there. I think you probably do a better job there.'"
Right.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think those are just some, in terms of partner communication, or even with people you don't know, how you come across there. But I think confidence is always important,
It is.
Little Grayson takes karate, and the sensei was telling him, "Do people look like you're going to be afraid?" He walks in with his shoulders down and
Right.
and then he stands up and he looks back, or does it look like this when I walk into him? And I'm like,
Right.
that applies like everywhere, really.
Right. Right.
Because he's not afraid.
And as a cop thing, like I took kind of off topic, but I took a personal safety class for real estate. And it was all about presenting, like being really strong and walking strong and tall and being confident and whatever.
Yeah.
And then the one funny thing, this is so not even related to pickleball at all, but as a female, if you were in a precarious position and somebody got you down on the ground, not by choice, you were supposed to pee your pants, or do something else in your pants if you could.
Always fact check people. I don't know who the source of information is that's providing this, but she has a professor,
Oh, I don't know why. I just remember
a clinical professor.
Yeah. You don't
She
think
could
that's
add-
a good strategy? I feel like that would be a pretty big deterrent if somebody had.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if
Bad
there's a
intentions.
trickling stream somewhere nearby. That's not going to be the first thing I do. It'll probably be a little more aggressive
Lord.
than that.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't know if that.
All right, ladies, pee
Anyway,
your pants.
No, don't do that. Ladies, don't do that. Next time you get on a court and the person pees their pants across the way, they're just expecting you to walk off the court. I don't know what. I don't know what to say about that.
All right. Okay.
But I will say projecting confidence is definitely something you should try to do. Just actually from, Professor Brigette's standpoint. In my clinical professor hat.
Yes.
Is there is a lot of research and a lot of the studies come from them interviewing prisoners who were caught for like robberies or different things. And then and some of it is asking them how they chose their victims. And some of it was that they weren't aware, self-awareness or aware of your environment.
Right.
They weren't aware. They weren't looking around. They looked like
Yes.
somebody they could take advantage of.
Yes.
I mean, and what does that look like? Well, if you get your head in your purse or in your phone, a lot.
My God, the phone. I'm trying to figure it all out.
I know,
That's all.
but my point
Yes.
is you're not aware. And a lot of people
Right.
do walk around like that. They're not paying attention to anything.
Yes.
And so
Head on
if
a
you wanna
swivel.
look, head on a swivel, confident. I'm always like, I guess I could be pretty judgy, like, what's up with that dude over there? And she, what? I mean, I may not ever, but I do that a lot, right?
Yeah.
But it's always there. Or
Lori's the muscle.
I just get the creep factor.
She does get a lot of creep factor.
I listen to that. So I used to teach that stuff with like mothers and teenage daughters and like awareness. And one of the things I said is really just listen to your
intuition,
your third sense or your spidey sense, whatever you want to call it. Just listen to that. If something like, oh, but that alley looks spooky, I shouldn't walk in there, or maybe I shouldn't stop at that ATM because there's the lights out. Don't listen to it. Your brain does a lot of calculating all on its own that you probably can't touch or understand, and just walk away from that. So that's my safety tip for the day.
Yeah. I didn't know we were doing safety tips.
But it's good. Yeah,
so I said
confidence.
Use
easy.
confidence, be aware, and I said pee your pants if in a difficult situation. Right? No, but
fact check.
If we but if we to kind of wrap this up in a little pretty bow, really the mental part of it is communication is essential. And until you find your partner that maybe you're going to start playing with regularly, because it may take time. It's kind of like dating. I mean, you have to date, a lot of people to find Prince Charming, right? So, I mean, I had a few different pickleball partners when I started, and then when we finally got together, and then you just are in it, and then you just work through the stuff. And it's important, but to be able to talk.
I don't know. Is there a therapist out there I can
to contact? Yeah, I know.
I actually did say maybe I need to talk to. We met at a therapist recently.
Oh yeah,
right?
She actually texted me. That's why I was getting all these.
Need to call like her. Maybe I'm having problems. Yeah. No, I wasn't. But yeah, so I think there is a whole thing to be said for therapy and kind of positive. Oh, this is really what I want to get to. Positive talk.
Yes.
Because I'm hard on myself.
Yes.
Like I am definitely like a basic training sergeant, drill sergeant, hard on people. Like, why are you down on the ground? Here's their blood, or whatever.
No, when you play with her, if you've never been on the court with Lauri and she makes a mistake, there are expletives, but she'll call herself an a-hole or whatever, but you don't know if she's talking to you.
I warn you.
I know, but like other people.
No, I do. I always give a disclaimer.
No, I know. Like she's like, oh, asshole, whatever. And we're like, what?
I don't say that. I say more. No, this is what I say. Stupid.
Yeah.
Or idiot.
Yeah.
Or
poopy pants.
Yeah, I do.
When
well,
she
I don't
time
curse.
With
so see, she was wrong. I do not normally curse. I mean, I've gotten there once or twice under my breath. Though I try not to do that out loud.
Yes.
I mean, at least it's not expletives in music playing on the court.
I know. I tried to find the clean version. apparently it doesn't exist.
So, but anyway, but recently it's funny because everybody starts talking about this positive stuff. And then we've had a couple of therapists on the court even that are into it.
Yes.
And our friend Joy, which is a perfect name for her, she goes, oh my God, don't talk negative to yourself because that's going to make your body hurt and everything's negative.
She's so sweet.
And I was like, I really don't think that about myself. I just want you to know.
No, Lauri does not lack in the confidence.
But I had a dad, who was in the Vietnam War and he was in the Army and he was like an infantryman. And then I grew up and I was a basic training sergeant at the academy. It's like, we don't coddle. There's no crying in pickleball. But it turns out there's a lot of it.
There is a lot of it. Yeah. I know. Like I'm an emotional.
I want to say that, but there is a lot of crying in pickleball.
Although I have never cried on the court. Well, except when I got hit.
Oh, yeah, that was some drama right there.
That was very dramatic.
Go back to episode 2. I think it was episode 2.
I don't know. Yeah.
No, there was I mean, I'm sure it hurt, but yeah.
It did hurt. It hurt.
Went down.
Anyway,
so the communication is huge. And I wasn't so much sold on the fact that it wouldn't, because I just thought it was affecting me, like my negative. I'm like, I warn people, I get on the court and I go, if you hear me say something bad or it's not you, it's me, I'm talking to myself, whatever. And I have some people who go, oh my God, I do the same thing. They laugh, or they say stuff like, oh, don't talk to my friend that way, right? And then, but lately it's been, you realize that it actually does kind of negatively affect other people sometimes as well.
So let's just be
So
positive.
just not being it. Yeah. And I work on it, but
Yeah.
I do it a lot less than I used to. But every once in a while it rears its ugly head. Usually if I'm a grouchopotamus for the day.
Yeah.
And, you know, it happens.
It does.
But
well,
positive talk. Positive talk to your
self-talk.
communicator.
Communication.
What did I just say? Positive talk to your partner.
Oh, right.
You know, and because one of the things I have realized that I think I'm better at is that the game goes in a roller coaster. You'll lose 3 or 4 points, and then you're holding on, and then it'll the tide will turn as long as you stay positive. And I really have to do this with the kids I coach.
Yes.
Because they get so mental, and they'll like the score will be 2-1, and they're losing their minds.
I know.
And I'm like, the score is 2-1.
I know.
So, and really, that's let me reflect on myself. Like, what is going on?
Yes.
They pout. And then I have to bring them in, and we have to have little conversations. We have to do the paddle tap and kind of mean it. And sometimes people have great momentum and great shots, and they're on. Like, if Natalie's freaking forehand is on, you're in trouble, right? I mean, that's it. And then some days it's just hitting. It's going out. It's going out. It's going out. And you're like, it takes you a few shots to get it back together. But if you accept the ride, and then you just realize positively, you're going to figure out how to climb out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, technically you do.
And I'll tell you, the one thing that I will say that like has helped us is we've been in I've been in matches, we've been in matches where we're down like 10-0, right? People have match point. We have come back and win. That's mental fortitude. And we've had the reverse happen where we're like up 10-0. Right. And then all of a sudden you're losing a point or it's match point and you're like, how did we get here? So what goes on, you know, between these 6 inches or 4, whatever, like that's a big deal. So
so stay positive.
Yes.
Stay positive.
Stay positive. It's good though.
Put smiley faces in your text to each other. Yeah. Remember to give positive reinforcement to people who have affirmations that they're a certain way. And then you can tell them you are. Yeah. She is one of the best friends out there. Right?
Oh, yeah. I do. I do. All right. Well,
here we go. Boom. One more for the books.
Hey, Nala Pickleball Tribe. If you like what you saw, hit like and subscribe.